Hello, everybody. So we are going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. So I am Lori Warner. I am the speaker for tonight's webinar. We're going to be talking about elevating your practice and focusing really on women's health services. So super excited. We are hosting a lot of folks this time across the great country of Canada, which for those of you that are listening to my accent, I'm very close to Canada. I'm in Michigan. So really excited to talk to you guys about elevating your practice, some marketing strategies that really work for particularly women's health services. So just a couple of housekeeping items. On this platform, in the top corner, you're going to see a little section called comments. So throughout tonight's talk, if you have any questions at all, feel free to put those in the comments and I'll make sure to address as many as possible towards the end of the presentation. And I'm going to jam pack a lot of information in here today. So I promise not to take too much of your evening, but my goal is to really help you to be really excited about the possibility for your practice this year and give you a bunch of strategies that absolutely work for women's health. So we will go ahead and get started. This is also going to be recorded. So for any of you that are not able to watch live, or maybe you have somebody in the office that you want to be able to watch this later, we will get the recording out to you and probably within 24 to 48 hours after the presentation. All right, so let's get going here. So just a little bit about me. I always like to have my disclosures here at the beginning. I am the founder of Medical Marketing Wiz. We are a women-focused, women-led marketing agency specializing in women's health, aesthetics, and functional medicine doctors. Just a couple of my non-financial relationships. I'm a member of the Menopause Society, formerly known as NAMS. I'm also a member of the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. I actually serve on their social media committee. I'm a Forbes contributor. My previous life before Medical Marketing Wiz is I actually was a rep in the OR. I worked for Hologic and I sold NovaSure and MyoSure, which some of you may be familiar with. And I worked in Michigan and Northwest Ohio on that for about 8 years. Also, I'm a speaker not only for Cyton, but also Candela, Thermi, Gynesonics, Dominion Aesthetics, and Ceneva. And then I've left my contact information there as well. Just to tell you guys a little bit about Medical Marketing Wiz, our focus really is to help women's health doctors be positioned as that most sought after and recommended provider in their area. And really bigger than that, our mission as a women-led company is I really feel strongly, and so does my whole entire team, about helping women find doctors that are offering advanced treatments, that are not just doing the run-of-the-mill general women's health stuff, but really offering advanced technology, taking time with their patients, because patients really need to know about some of these treatment options that they may or may not be aware of. And so it's a really gratifying company that we have, and really being able to work with a lot of amazing doctors across both the United States and Canada. And this is just a handful of some of our docs here on the slide for you to check out. So what we're going to talk about today, and again, I promise you, I am going to pack a lot of information in a short amount of time. Number one, we're just going to talk about how do people actually go through the process of choosing a women's health specialist. Then we're going to look at some things that you can do to self-analyze your own online presence. And then from there, I want to give you guys some cost-effective marketing strategies, things that you can start to implement as soon as tomorrow without breaking your budget. And these are things that, having worked with over 250 doctors that offer treatments like Diva, like hormone therapy, these are things that we know will move the needle as far as growing your practice and positioning you as that authority in your local area. And then I always like to have a little fun because you are taking time out of your evening. I've got a couple of special gifts for sticking with me through this presentation. So first thing, obviously, when it comes to marketing, I know I feel like, this is kind of what I deal with sometimes when I talk to providers. They've tried all sorts of different things. They've wasted money on this. They've wasted money on that. They don't really feel like they're getting anywhere, but at the same time, they don't want to fall behind. And so what I want to kind of dive into first here is just to think about the evolution of where women's health marketing has gone and where it is now. Sometimes I'll talk to providers and they'll say, you know what, if I'm a great doctor, I shouldn't have to market. These people that are doing marketing, it's because they're actually not good at what they do. Or we'll also hear folks that'll say, well, I get all my patients from word of mouth, which is great. Word of mouth is king. But the fact is that word of mouth still ends up online because people need to Google you to get your phone number. A lot of other providers have never really Googled themselves, and they just assume that most of their patients are happy with their experience, and they never really looked at what people are saying about their practice online. Or maybe they just got their website completely redone and they're like, all right, cool. I got my website done. I'm good for the next 3 to 5 years. They'll have posters and brochures around the office and banner stands, and they may even have somebody doing some posting for them on social media. What I want you to sort of change your mindset a little bit about is some of these more new school ways of thinking. And as I mentioned, word of mouth is king. 100% you want patients to refer their friends and family to you. But the thing is like I said, they have to Google you to get your phone number. So you really do want to pay attention to what happens when that person does look you up online. And you want your online presence to reflect that high quality of care that you provide. And then I personally don't really even like the word marketing when it comes to healthcare. I really firmly believe in education-based marketing. So if your whole goal is to really just be the best at patient education, whether that be through social media, email newsletters, webinars, events, and even podcasting, you automatically become great at marketing, but you're doing it in an authentic way that's not only educating your patients, but educating your community. And you will find by doing that, you automatically will attract more patients. And then lastly, again, just as I mentioned, if you do a great job with this, you're contributing to your community, you're advancing women's healthcare and helping more people know all of the things that are available to them. And so what I want to lay out for you today is a very simple and implementable marketing plan that you can start as soon as tomorrow. And outside of your website, there's really 4 main things that you want to do. And it's as simple as these 4 things. And you just rinse and repeat this every quarter. And we're going to dive into each one of these. And I'm going to give you some specific examples of some ways that you can really take this to the next level. So obviously we have social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You need to have a presence on social media. I will tell you though, and it's funny, I had 2 different calls today with doctors that, needed some marketing help. And both of them that I asked, what are you doing for marketing right now? And both of them were like, well, I paid this girl to do some social media for me for a year and I didn't get anything out of it. We didn't even get 1 patient. So I just sort of quit. And that is a story that I hear a lot of times. And the thing that people don't realize is that social media is more branding and awareness. It's not necessarily acquisition of patients, especially in the women's health field. This is very different than posting on social media about something like cool sculpting, where people don't necessarily care as much where they go for something like that. When it comes to women's health, it's a very personal relationship. It's a very personal decision. They want to feel comfortable with this person. They're not going to just choose them from Instagram. So yes, you need to have a presence, but that's not the only thing that you want to make sure you're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about search engine optimization. I'm going to show you some free ways that you can utilize Google My Business to position yourself number 1, number 2, or number 3 on Google for 0 ad spend. And we're going to talk a little bit also about how your online reputation affects your marketing, specifically when it comes to any sort of women's health service. Email marketing, so just those touch points, making sure that you're staying in front of your patients, you're keeping yourself top of mind. We're going to talk about how you can use email. Again, very low cost, high conversion thing you can do. And then the magic lies in this last piece here. And this is what most people forget. Consistently doing an event or a webinar. Our strategy is to do this every quarter, but this is the conversion mechanism. Typically when I see people talk about marketing that isn't working and I ask them what they do, they're missing this piece or they're just doing it sporadically. Events and webinars are the number one thing that will convert your leads into new patients and new procedures. So I'll give you guys some examples on that. Now, the great thing about this is we're talking about women's health right now, but in all honesty, whether it is intimate wellness, whether it's hormones, whether it's a weight loss program you have, or any of these other things that I have on the slide, the strategies that I'm going to share with you today work for every single one of these things. So ultimately, it's something that can grow your whole entire practice. All right. So real quick, I want to unpack just how people are choosing their women's health provider. Now, whether that be you're a gynecologist, or maybe you're a functional medicine doctor, or maybe you're a family medicine doctor that's doing some aesthetics and some women's health. Most of the time, what people do when they're looking for a doctor is they're first going to ask their friends and family where they go, or they may get a referral, right? So either way, I know for me, I have a lot of family members and friends that are very health conscious. And so I admire them. I look up to them. And so if I have a health issue, I may go to them and go, do you know anybody that, that does this specific thing that can help me with this specific symptom that I have? Again, I might ask my doctor, my primary care doctor, and maybe he or she has some recommendations for me. The other thing is a lot of times you'll find people, especially people that move to a new town, they'll join these community Facebook groups. And they may go in there. I see this all the time. I live in Canton, Michigan. And when I moved here about 8 years ago, I joined a Facebook group. It's got about 25,000 people in this group. And you'll see all the time, people will go in there. I just moved to the area and I need a new pediatrician for my son, or I need a new dentist. And so in these groups, people are constantly making recommendations. So you want to be the person that they're recommending. Now, from that point, what they're going to do is they are going to go to Google because they want to validate the recommendation that it aligns with what they also think is the best doctor for them. So they're going to go to Google. So even these word of mouth referrals, they're going to Google to number one, get your phone number, and number two, read your reviews. And they're just looking for validation that they're making the right choice by making an appointment with you. And the other thing that a lot of folks forget, especially about gynecologists or any sort of women's health specialist, you have to remember that this, let's just say we're talking about Diva, intimate wellness right now. That woman that may be a good candidate for Diva, this woman is probably in her mid 40s or older. She's already gone to this gynecologist of hers for probably 15 years or more. She has a good relationship with this person. So just seeing a social media post about Diva is not enough for her to stop going to this person that she's had a great relationship with, who's delivered her children and, they've talked to about all sorts of health issues, and just show up at some new doctor's office. This is really important because what you want to do is you want to remember, why would that woman switch to you? She would switch to you because you're more of an authority. You have more treatment options than the person they're going to right now, or the person they're going to right now isn't addressing their symptoms and you specialize in solutions. So your marketing and your strategy really needs to be geared towards that sort of mindset. And then communication style is key. They may not necessarily know your communication style until they meet you, but there's things you can do in your marketing to help them get to know you before they actually even meet you. So this I touched on. I'm not going to belabor this, but it's important to know that even if somebody gets a referral, 92% of these people say they will conduct their own research to validate that recommendation. Again, taking that online. So real quick, what do people see when they research you? This is not something I want you to do right at this minute, but after this webinar, this might not be a bad exercise. What they're looking for is your authority and credibility. 75% of online visitors, people that find you, go to your website, will not choose you if you don't have credibility and authority positioned primarily on your website and your Google listing. And so just adding some social proof, and I'll give you some examples of what I mean by this, can increase your appointment requests by up to 48% instantly. So I'm going to tell you a few things that you can have your website person do as soon as tomorrow that is going to increase the conversions on your website and generate more patient appointments. First thing I want to touch on is your Google business profile. They're going to see this before they actually get to your website. And so what a Google business profile is this is the number one local business listing of you anywhere online. It shows up in both Google search and on Google Maps. And it actually shows up above the number one ranked websites. It's a core element of search engine optimization. So this is just an example of what your Google business profile may look like. Now, sometimes when this profile isn't optimized, this might be an aerial picture that Google had, a satellite photo of like your parking lot. I had one doctor where it was a picture of a brick wall, that clearly is going to be a bottleneck for people actually calling that doctor if they don't have an optimized profile, they don't have a lot of reviews, and they don't have, some nice pictures where it's like, all right, I can visualize who these people are at this practice. When you think of search engine optimization, there's a lot of components to it. You've got SEO. So this is going to be, the things that your web developer may do on your website, making sure you have the right keywords, the right content on your site. And then you have your Google business profile. And this is really the biggest component of your SEO, especially for local businesses. So a couple things you can do to optimize your Google business listing. Number one, you've got to claim your listing. So make sure you have access to your Google profile. When you do, you get to see some of this back end stuff like I have here on the screen. So you're able to put your business name. You'll see an example here. This doctor's got multiple different categories. So they're a women's health clinic. They also do skincare. They do medical spa services. They do weight loss services. That tells Google that you do all of those things. You're not just a doctor. A description of your business. So this, you want to be keyword rich. So talking about some of the services, you'll see here, this doctor's talking about laser services and how she has the Diva. You want all your service areas. So not just your address, but what are some of the other towns and nearby towns that you would love to attract patients from? This is all stuff that you can do on your Google business profile for free. Your services, make sure all of your services, and this doctor's got so many services, I can only take a small screenshot of a section of them, but you want to have all of your services listed on Google. And then there's some additional things that you can do in this from the business section, such as if you're a woman-owned business, if you're a minority-owned business, if you're a veteran. All of these things are things that you can designate on Google, and that Google actually gives you a little bit of a boost in your search result. And then also there are people that tend to maybe look for a woman-owned business, especially in the women's health arena. So those are some things that you can do for free to immediately optimize your profile and get more phone calls. The other thing that's really, really important is making sure you're paying attention to your online reputation. All of these patients that you've taken care of, you've delivered their babies, you've helped them through menopause. These people, they love you, and you need to make sure that you're asking them to leave you a review, because all it takes is one person to leave you a bad review if you're not paying attention to this, and it really can ruin a reputation that you've taken decades to build. And so a simple thing to do, again, this is something you can do for no cost whatsoever, except maybe, $5 at your local print store, is to ask people for reviews. So on that Google profile that I showed you a couple of slides ago, there's a section on there where you can get a URL that will go directly to your Google link. And you can create a QR code that when you hand this out to patients, they scan it on their phone and it'll go right straight to your review profile where they can click 5 stars and boom, they leave you a 5-star review. There's also some cute little signs that you can have. You can order these on places like Etsy. You can, just search online for QR code sign. These are very easy to order, but this is something you can have at the checkout area and have your staff, hey, how was your visit today with Dr. Smith? Great. You know what? While I'm checking you out here, we would love it if you could leave your feedback on Google for us. This helps us to be able to find more great patients like you. And so while you're checking them out, they scan the code. Sometimes people will even do like fun little raffles or contests for everybody that leaves a review, let's say in the month of March. So there's some ways that you can do this organically in your office. Now, Google reviews are the most important, but the only caveat to that is if you do not have a Gmail email, you cannot leave a Google review. So it's good to have some secondary options like Yelp or Facebook recommendations or Real Self. Those are other good places for people that only have like Hotmail or AOL as their email. So they have a place to leave reviews. You also want to research the number of reviews for your competitors. So you may want to Google gynecologist near me, see who else comes up, see how many reviews they have, and set a goal for yourself to beat them, to get more reviews than them. And there are some software out there that you can use to systematize this and do this on autopilot. But you want to make sure the moral of the story is just you have to ask for reviews. The more reviews you have, the higher Google is going to rank you. It's a huge determinant of your search ranking. And then last but not least, you want to make sure that you're not only monitoring your reviews, but you're replying to your reviews. And you do need to be mindful of patient privacy in terms of your response. So you really should be careful kind of how you word that response. And in fact, like for our company, we respond to our clients' reviews, and we've worked with an attorney to make sure that our responses are compliant with the privacy laws across the US and Canada. But you do want to reply to those reviews. That is a factor in your overall Google score. Another thing I mentioned is some things you can do with your website to immediately increase your conversions. And that is leveraging all of your amazing credentials and awards, all of the things that you've worked hard to achieve, your board certification logos, any sort of top docs award, best of Toronto, for example, any sort of affiliation. So if you're part of the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health, or if you're a member of any sort of women's health oriented organization, that would be something that you could leverage. Also, think about some of your devices. So a lot of the Cyton devices, so for example, the Diva or the Halo, these devices have earned awards, the aesthetic awards, those sorts of things. You can also leverage those on your specific device or treatment pages. It really shows that you're a leader, you're an award-winning doctor, patients choose you, you're going to get great care. And these logos need to be on the homepage of your website, above the fold. So like when you're scrolling on a website, you don't want to have to scroll way down to the bottom to see the credentialing logos. You want to make sure that they're front and center. So just take a quick inventory and think about some of those that you may be able to incorporate into your website. And again, something you can tell your website developer to do, and that will help increase the conversions into appointments. And then the other thing is just, having some media coverage. So one of the things that we do for our clients is we will research local, regional, and national awards, whether it's a healthcare award or whether it's like we have one client recently they're in New Hampshire, and their New Hampshire magazine kind of has this like best of, right? And the patients actually vote. So we use email marketing to get their patients to vote. Other ones, it's more based on your number of reviews. It's based on your community service and those sorts of things. We leverage the media for this sort of thing. So not only do we do press releases to announce it to the local and regional media, but we actually also get our doctors recognized in big health publications such as People Health, Time, and some others across the US and Canada, kind of just depending on your local area. And just kind of shifting the focus a bit on, all right, we got our Google going, we've got our website optimized. Now what? It's all about education-based marketing. And I love this quote by Steve Jobs. The best marketing is education. I think this is so, so true, particularly in healthcare. Nobody wants to get an email from their doctor or see a social media post from their doctor that's like, buy one, get one free, or 50% off this sort of treatment. It's very salesy. And especially if they get emails or things like this, it's like, why is my doctor trying to sell me stuff? If you're the best at education, whether that be through email, through social media, through events, or through webinars, you automatically become the best at marketing, but you're doing it in a very authentic way. So, one of the ways that you can do this, again, little to no cost, is by doing email marketing. And email marketing actually has a higher conversion rate than both social media and Google search combined. And this is more of one of these middle of the funnel nurturing. So, one of the things I like to ask doctors is, do you collect emails? Does your electronic medical records capture emails? Are you doing any kind of email marketing? And some folks will say, yeah, well, no, I'm not doing any, but I have the capability. I can get emails. And then they're running Google ads and they're spending $3,000 a month on Google ads when they have 5,000 people in their practice that already know, like, and trust them, that they're not communicating with at all unless they come in for an appointment. So practices that excel at lead nurturing, such as email marketing, will generate 50% more sales ready leads at a 33% lower cost. So one easy way to do this is just a simple monthly email newsletter. So every month is a health month. So I think right now, I believe it's endometriosis month. And then we've got Mother's Day coming up. You've got, in the summer, you've got Fibroid Awareness Month. You've got Menopause Month in September. All of these things make it easy to craft really good educational content that goes out to your patient list. So maybe you have an upcoming webinar coming up, or you've got an event, or you want to just educate people on some treatment options for menopause. These are all things that you can do just every month in a very educational way. We like to do a little recipe or something in this newsletter. And the reason for this is it gets a lot of clicks. Email is similar to social media in that if you don't have engagement, you're going to be in the spam folder. So you want something that people are going to click on or reply to. And recipes tend to get a lot of clicks. So that's just another real easy thing that you can include every single month, like a little healthy recipe of the month. People will actually save these newsletters and share them with friends and family for those sorts of things. And then they get all the rest of your content as well. So simple thing, again, low cost that you can implement quickly. The other thing is maintenance reminders. So another easy thing to do is pull a list of everybody that had, like, if you offer Diva, or if you even like body sculpting might be another example of something that you would have to have people come in maybe for like a touch up. So we do a lot of intimate wellness at our company. We work with a lot of women's health providers. So every quarter we get a list of everybody that is due for their 1-year maintenance treatment. And so you can use email to just get in touch with those people. Hey, it's been over 12 months since you had your Diva. Let's come back in, talk about your symptoms, make sure everything is great. And it is recommended per the clinical studies that there is an annual maintenance touch-up treatment. And we can go ahead and we can determine if now's a good time for you to do that. So simple way for you to really create a cumulative effect of some of these procedures that you offer. And ultimately also just help patients maintain their results. Because at the end of the day, they've already invested in this. They've already benefited from the procedure. You don't want them to wait too long to have to get the whole 3 treatment series done over again. So just get in touch with them, get them to come back in, and you can do that with a simple email. The other thing is direct mail. Doing an educational mailer announcing different new treatment options that you have. I can tell you that if somebody gets a letter in the mail from their doctor, they will open it. It has a very, very high open rate. In fact, we had a provider that we sent out an email, a mailer, direct mailer to a subset of their patients that had, specific CPT codes. And we sent a letter to them announcing this new treatment, and they booked 18 procedures in 1 month. So again, you want this to be very educational. So you probably can't see this here. I'll do my best to sort of read it to you, but this one is just an example. Patients often come to us with questions regarding changes to their gynecologic health as they age and estrogen levels decline. Many women suffer from a variety of gynecologic health concerns that can significantly impact their quality of life. And we're talking about vaginal dryness, painful intercourse, etc. Our practice is committed to staying on top of the latest advancements in women's healthcare, and we're always looking for the most cutting edge, safest, and effective solutions for our patients. And so we researched various modalities, and we determined that the Diva laser was a solution that could address many of these symptoms for our patients, and so on and so forth, right? So it's very educational. It's from the standpoint of, we have a lot of patients that have come to us with this concern. We're committed to staying on top of the latest advancements. So we did our research. We came across this as a solution, and we're really proud to be able to bring this to the community. Get in touch with us if you'd like to have a consultation. So this is going to come across a lot better than, do you suffer from this problem, right? It's more third person. It's more, hey, we're just letting you know this is a new treatment that's available because we had a lot of people ask about it. Direct mail is something, again, pretty low cost, high return. Regarding social media, I always like to remind people, again, for those of you that joined us a little bit late, social media is meant to be social, right? It's not meant to be salesy. It's not necessarily meant to, have somebody open up Instagram and say, you know what, I'm just going to quit going to my gynecologist that I've been going to for, 20 years. And I'm just going to show up at this new office because they look cool on Instagram. It really doesn't work that way. The first point is that your social media is meant to be social. It's meant for people to get to know you and your staff and a little bit about your office. It's not meant to be salesy. And the other thing is, social media is more branding and awareness. It's not necessarily patient acquisition, especially for women's health. So some of the things that we would recommend doing on social media, again, position yourself as an expert. Talk about why you became a doctor. Talk about awards. Talk about your credentials. Talk about why you've invested in certain technology. These are things that tend to get a lot of comments. So this is just an example of one of our clients that won an award. He's got 48 patients congratulating him, saying, yes, this is my doctor. Great job. Well deserved. These sorts of things can provide a lot of social proof if a new person comes to your page. They have authentic social proof that you are a great doctor and you're an authority and an expert in your field. The other thing that you can do, and we're going to talk a little bit about how you can market these sort of events on social media, but on a bigger scale, you want to be doing an event or a webinar every quarter. So this is really the key to converting leads, converting website visitors into actual patient appointments. So these things can achieve a couple different things, right? It gets your name out there. It provides patient education, community education. You will get immediate people that are there, that watch the webinar or that come to your event, and they're like, finally, a solution for something that I've been dealing with for the last 12 months. And they will sign up. And then you have a lucrative future pipeline. So these are people that may not be quite ready at that moment, but you will be top of mind, because let's face it, they're going to continue to have some of these health concerns, and they may have to deal with it a little bit longer till they're like, you know what? I can't take it anymore. I really need to go and talk to Dr. Smith about this. And I know that he knows what he's talking about because I went to his event or I watched his webinar. 73% of marketers will say that webinars are an extremely effective source of quality leads. And the only thing that beats webinars is events. Events are the highest conversion rate of any marketing thing that you can do. There's a lot of different topics. Again, I talked about, we do these every single quarter. It's something that helps our clients generate a significant amount of revenue and pay their equipment off really, really fast. So I put just a handful of the ideas here. So whether it's women's intimate health, urinary incontinence, weight management, the girlfriend's guide to wellness and aging, gut health, these are all different topics that you can do. As part of our program, we help our clients come up with what the topic is going to be. We help them put their slides together. We do the recording if we're doing a webinar. We do all of the marketing of this so that we know that people are going to show up. And then it makes it really, really easy for them. The webinars, I would say an event of the advantage of the event is that people will be there physically and they will convert because they're already there at the office. The problem is that you're only going to be able to meet the people that are available on that day and at that time. With the webinar, you still get positioned as that local expert. You generate a list of interested patients because they have to register for this webinar. And you can pre-record this. So you don't necessarily have to do this live. You can pre-record it. That way, if you mess up one of the slides, it can easily be edited. And that patient can watch it whenever it's convenient for them. They don't have to wait till Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. to be able to watch your webinar. They can watch it immediately. And it also can save you a lot of time. So let's say you recorded a webinar about women's intimate health or lichen sclerosis, and you record this. You could have this on your website. And let's say your patient comes in for her annual checkup and you only have 15 minutes to talk to her, and you know that she would be a great candidate for something like Diva, but you just don't have the time to answer all of her questions. You could say, you know what, Judy, I actually have a webinar that I have on my website, and I think it's going to be really, really helpful for you. It's going to go through all of the details of what this treatment is and answer a lot of your questions. And then let's schedule an appointment next week and we can continue the conversation. So it can be a great educational tool that saves you time. The other thing for any of you that have ever tried to boost a Facebook post or an Instagram post and it gets denied, the beauty of webinars is that you get a little bit more leeway because they don't actually see what's on the webinar itself. They only see the registration page. So you can really get more opt-ins and get more out of your Meta ads or your Google ads with doing it a webinar or an event route than it's going to be if you just try to like boost a post about Diva. So it's really an ongoing patient education tool, something that you can record once and it can work around the clock for you. And so basically how evergreen webinars work is there's a registration page where people have to register, give their name, email, and phone number in order to view the content. You get a list of everybody's name, email, and phone number, so you know every single person that's registered, and then they watch it immediately. So they can watch it at 8 p.m., at lunchtime, on the weekends. If they want their husband to watch it or their spouse or their significant other, they can do that. And then there is an automated email campaign that goes out afterwards to give them some testimonials, to answer some frequently asked questions, to get them to ultimately book an appointment with you. And this is all done on autopilot. The other cool thing, why I love webinars, is nowadays podcasting is huge. It's one of the fastest growing mediums for marketing, especially in healthcare. And when you're trying to attract middle-aged, educated women, I can tell you that they are all listening to podcasts. They don't listen to the radio anymore. They're listening to podcasts when they work out, when they go for a walk, when they're folding laundry, and anything else that they do. Now, what's cool about the webinar is we can strip the audio of that webinar and we can make it a podcast episode. We have a podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts called Top Docs, and our clients can get episodes on that platform. So now when we kind of go back to that building authority piece, your website now can say, listen to Dr. Jones on Spotify, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, where she is talking about what no one tells you about women, aging, and intimacy, or she's talking about the Menopause Feel Good Masterclass. So it's an educational tool and an authority building tool. just real quick on how to kind of get the word out for these sorts of things is there's a lot of different things that you can do, but these are all things that we do for our clients. We make sure they have a flyer in the office with a QR code so people can go to the landing page and register. We're using email marketing. We're creating an event on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. We're posting about it on social media. We are adding it to the website with the pop-up. We put it on Eventbrite and other free event listing websites. Google Business, we talked about that at the beginning, putting it on your Google Business profile. If you're a member of a community group like a Chamber of Commerce, or maybe you're a member of a local golf club that has a ladies group, a lot of times they like to come to these sorts of things. And then also press releases. I could probably do a whole webinar just on press releases and how they can really catapult your search engine optimization. But press releases is another great way to get your events and webinars out there as well. And it gives you a lot of backlinks back to your website. So this press release gets you on your local news station website, radio stations, newspaper publications that will host the press release that talks about your upcoming event or webinar. So rounding things out, I want to just give you again a 12-month strategy for success. So we talked about events and webinars. We talked about social media, email marketing with a little bit of direct mail thrown in, and then optimizing your Google listing and getting reviews. And your 12-month to success is really those 4 things: rinse and repeat. So we're rounding out Q1 right now. So you've got an event, a webinar, or a podcast, one of the 3. You're posting on social, having an active presence. You're sending out a monthly email newsletter. You're making sure you're getting reviews, and you're optimizing your Google profile. And the next quarter, you're doing the same thing, just a little difference in your strategy for your event or webinar. Same thing with Q3 and Q4. This is how you build a very well-oiled marketing machine. Rinse and repeat. Very, very simple. Again, all things that don't cost a ton of money too, which I love. Lastly, I want to round this out with just giving you guys some things. You may think, okay, Lori, this is all great. This is a lot to digest. And what can I do to generate appointments the fastest? So basically what this slide is saying is that depending on how many leads you currently are getting per month. So let's say you're currently getting less than 10 new leads per month. 80% of your effort in marketing needs to be doing these things. So number 1, getting in touch with everybody that is due for their Diva touch-up treatment, hosting an event or a webinar, implementing that newsletter, maybe doing a direct mail, and making sure you've got everything optimized on Google. These things will generate new patient appointments in under 90 days. If you look over here, we were talking at the beginning, again, I like social media. Social media is important. You need to be doing it. However, organic social media posting takes 18 to 24 months to produce a patient. So just make sure that you're not putting all your marketing budget and doing some of these longer term strategy things if you're not doing the things that are going to move the needle quickly. All right. So just to round things out, I know we're getting short on time here and I want to respect your evening, but hopefully you guys have 1 or 2 things that we talked about today that you can start to implement as soon as tomorrow. And I do, I'm gonna take questions here in a second. I see there's a couple of them in the comment section, but I want to tell you about the free gifts that we have. So first thing is going to be our Doctor Marketing Toolkit. So this is our training program. There are literally thousands of videos. This is a training that my team goes through to know how to do their job at Medical Marketing Wiz. So we have put all of this in a training portal. There's also Canva templates. There's event guides. Our PowerPoint decks for our presentations and webinars are in there. So we will give this to you guys free access for a month. It's normally $97 a month. We have in the comment section the link to this Doctor Marketing Toolkit. You just enter the code 1 month free and you can get a free month of that. No strings attached. The other thing is our social media scheduler. So this scheduler connects to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and your Google account. And we have tons of posts. We have everything from the Sciton portal, plus pretty much all the other medical device company portals. We also have all of the content that our team creates. This is a drag and drop into a calendar, and it will post these posts for you, but you can also post any of your own content. So if you want to create your own fresh content, you can use this as a scheduler that will not only post on just Facebook and Instagram, but all of the other platforms as well. And it will handle all of your replies to your reviews with those pre-populated, as I talked about, those privacy-friendly responses that you can manage all of your online reputation in this platform as well. This does require getting on a call with us because we have to do a little bit of tech setup, but you can also get 30 days of that for free. And then the last thing I don't have a slide for, but we actually have a book called Lady Doc Marketing, How to Become the #1 Practice in Your Area. This is available on Amazon.com. So this is something that if you guys end up doing a call with us, we can do a free strategy call. I will actually mail you a copy of this book as well. All right, cool. So I am going to hop in the comments here and see if there's any questions at all. I think we're pretty good here. I don't see any questions here. All right, cool. Rita, yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to send this replay out. You will have my email. You are welcome to email me. I am happy to get on and do a strategy call with you to talk specifically about, issues or questions or ideas that you have for your practice. And again, that's something that we'll do absolutely free. Again, thank you so much to Saitan for organizing this. This has been great. I'm really excited I know there's a lot of folks from Canada that registered for this. So really, really excited to get the chance to talk to you guys. Hopefully this is helpful, and appreciate everybody joining tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.